and switching my retirement accounts from Schwab to Robinhood just seemed like a no-brainer. It was an offer that I could not refuse, and so I went for it. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Creating Cash Flow, where today we are talking about why I switched from Robinhood to Robinhood Gold. And not only that, we're going to be talking about why I swapped my retirement account from Charles Schwab to Robinhood Gold. So today's episode is all about Robinhood Gold, the pros, the cons, what I found out to be pros for me, and some of the things that you may want to think about if you are wondering if Robinhood Gold is right for you. So for starters, the Robinhood overall idea, I absolutely love. I remember way back in the day when I had E-Trade and it cost $10 to buy a stock and it cost another $10 to sell a stock. So anything you were going to do cost $20 round trip, which I found pretty painful, especially as a beginning investor. But all of you who are probably watching this, that just doesn't matter anymore because Robinhood has completely changed the game. And they did this years ago, but shockingly enough, it took some of the bigger banks a while to catch up. But Robinhood, as far as I know, they were the first company to go through and say, we won't charge for trades at all. So they're the pioneer of being able to just go in a mobile app, buy a share, and you only pay the price for the share. There's no transaction fees. Basically, it's like TickPick versus Ticketmaster. On TickPick, you see the price of the ticket, you buy it, and there's no hidden transaction fees. On Ticketmaster, you're like, oh, I'd buy that. That's that ticket's $70. Then you go to checkout, and the ticket now is $120. That's kind of like how it used to be with trading stocks. There were all these random fees and service fees. And Robinhood came in and just said, hey, look, it's just no fees. So I've always been a big fan of Robinhood. I've been with Robinhood for 10 years. I was just looking at my oldest transaction on the Robinhood app, and I moved $500 from my bank to my Robinhood account in March of 2015. So I'm coming up on almost 10 years with Robinhood. And there have been times where I was very upset with Robinhood, just like everybody else. The main one is when GameStop and AMC stock were going to the moon, and I didn't own any, but I was completely locked out of my Robinhood account for a period of time while the SEC or whoever was kind of overseeing all of that made sure that people weren't buying, selling, shorting AMC and GameStop. But it just made me feel so vulnerable that they could just go and log me out for no reason. I didn't even own GameStop or anything like that. It wasn't like they just wouldn't let me search GameStop or AMC or buy those two. I couldn't even get into my account, which I thought that was too far. I didn't like that at all. So that was my one ding over the past 9-10 years with Robinhood. But other than that, I've had a pretty good experience. I think their customer service is meh. It's nothing to write home about, but for the most part, I can get my questions answered, especially if the first representative doesn't know. I just end that chat, start a new chat until I find someone that can answer my questions. So those are the biggest cons about Robinhood. So you may be wondering, well, then why did you switch to Robinhood Gold? And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And as always, if you like this video, you find this video helpful, it's very helpful if you go ahead and hit that like button back. Let other people know that these videos are helpful. Let the almighty algorithm know that these videos may help other people just like you. So for starters, if you don't know what Robinhood Gold is, I'll put a link down below. I won't dive into all of the details of Robinhood Gold, but just to name a few, they do have a 5% yield on any cash that you have sitting around that is not invested yet. So if you're not used to using Robinhood, they'll basically have a buying power line item, which is the cash that you have in your account that you can then buy stocks, ETFs, or anything. And while that money's sitting there, it now can earn 5%, where previously it was earning zero, nada. Now that money will earn a 5% interest, that's cool. I keep most of my cash that I want to earn an interest like that in a high yield savings account called Wealthfront. There's other videos about that, but that's where I keep that money for the most part. Any money I have in Robinhood I pretty much reinvest it automatically, so that money is always invested. The other thing that's pretty cool for entrepreneurs, this doesn't apply for me, this is not why I did it, but they have a 3% match if you want to have an IRA through Robinhood, which is pretty cool. That's kind of one of the pioneering aspects of the culture of Robinhood. They're doing things that no one else is doing, and I think they're very interesting and very cool, especially for a certain type of person, and most likely people that are in their demographic. Another reason why I switched to Robinhood Gold is they have their gold credit card, which we will talk about more extensively in this video a little bit later. And finally, the real reason or why I switched to Robinhood Gold is because for the price of $55 or $60, I was able to get an over 4,000, scratch that. I was able to get an over 7,500% return on my money, because through the month of April up until May, which my apologies I didn't get this video out beforehand, but I only found out about it, or I only realized it at the end of April, and so I was in a scramble mad dash to find out if this was real, if I should actually do this. But they were giving a 3% match. They would match your entire traditional IRA if you transitioned it over from any other bank to Robinhood. So they were doing that for your traditional IRA and your Roth IRA. And my entire life, I've always invested in my Roth IRA and maxed it out as much as I could. And throughout my entire career, whenever my employer has a traditional IRA match, I give as much as I possibly can to make sure I get that match from my employer. So because of that, I have a healthy amount of money in my retirement accounts, at least for where I'm at in my career right now. And just getting a 3% match on all of that money for just taking a few hours and switching my retirement accounts from Schwab to Robinhood just seemed like a no-brainer. It was an offer that I could not refuse, and so I went for it. Now, they're not running that offer anymore, but they may have another offer coming up soon. So let me just tell you quickly the pros and cons of this experience. First of all, I used to bank with TD Ameritrade, which was where I had my retirement accounts, and I liked TD Ameritrade, it was fine, but then TD got bought out by Schwab. I'm sure everyone knows this, but once Schwab got bought out, they took over my accounts, and I realized Schwab was so much better than TD Ameritrade, and I was really loving Schwab. They have incredible customer service, and I actually called them and told them, hey, Robinhood is running this promotion where if I take my money in my retirement accounts over to Robinhood, they'll give a 3% match. That does not count against my contributions. It just counts as a distribution, so I could still contribute the full amount, which was, I mean, that's just a really, really good offer. No one else is even coming close to that. And the Schwab guy, just a credit to him, he was super nice. He went back and talked to his managers and managers, et cetera, called me back and basically said that he would offer me $300 to stay, which was basically pennies compared to the 3% match I would get if I took my money elsewhere. So I told him, hey, look, I'm gonna give this Robinhood a chance. And what this entails is I have to be a Robinhood Gold member for at least 1 year. And that's $5 a month, so that's $60 minus the first month, which they're giving me for free. So with a $55 investment, I was able to get a 3% match on almost my entire retirement account, which is crazy. Very cool. So the other stipulation is I have to keep my money with Robinhood for 5 years. So I get the 3% match immediately. It's not like I have to be there for a year and then they give it to me. So I've already got that money. I've already got that money working for me. It's already invested. So now I just got to keep that $55-$60 in Robinhood that they can pull from every single month. And even while it's sitting there, it's going to earn a 5% interest, which is not bad. It seems like all positives, but also because of my age, I won't be touching my retirement account anytime soon. So that's the big thing is my retirement accounts are so low maintenance. I never do anything with them. I pretty much just make sure that they're there, make sure that the money, the cash that's in those retirement accounts is invested, and just make sure, you know, nothing dramatic or crazy is happening in those accounts. But because I won't be touching those until I'm 59 and a half or later anyway. Having that money sit there over the next 5 years is just not that big of a deal for me, which may not be the case for everyone else. So for me, this was is a complete no-brainer for me to go in there, get that easy return on my money, and take advantage of the Robinhood Gold features. Now, I said I wouldn't dive into all the Robinhood Gold features here, but as you can see here on my screen, they do have the 5% APY on idle cash, which I mentioned already. They also have the gold card, which actually that's what I want to talk about for a quick second. Is this 3% cash back across the board. So Robinhood has a partnership with Visa to come to bring a gold Robinhood card to life that gives you that 3% cash back. It has no annual fee, which is kind of true, kind of not true. It basically, it's $60 a year to be a gold member, and you have to be a gold member to have their credit card. So in a way, there is an annual fee, but you're getting more than just the credit card. And even then, that fee's pretty low. I think for my Platinum card, my Amex Platinum, I'm paying like $650 a year, which shockingly enough, I'm always looking through the math. It does make sense. I do take advantage of all of those benefits, which ends up making it worth it, but it's kind of borderline worth it. Unless I'm proactively taking advantage of everything, then I would say that card's not worth it. But $60, that's nothing. No foreign transaction fees. I travel a lot. That's huge for me. 3% cash back on all categories. I don't know of any other credit card that has 3% cash back on all categories. And then finally, they do have a 5% cash back when you book through the Robinhood travel portal, which I plan on never doing. Usually those travel portals are just kind of a nightmare to deal with. And if you have to get a refund for something that you didn't end up using, the company's like, well, you didn't book this directly through us, you booked this through blah, 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 blah. To me, it makes everything more complicated and probably not worth even an extra 2% return. But I'll keep you guys posted if I change my mind on that. The other crazy thing about this card is they have a actual limited edition gold card that they're making out of pure gold. So, I mean, it's limited edition. I can almost guarantee you I won't get one, but the idea of having a gold credit card in your wallet, that's pretty awesome. I would say that is very, very cool. So Robinhood, in my mind, they're kind of doing it again. They're checking the boxes of being in front of the pack in terms of giving you a 3% match to hold your retirement account money. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing that. I read some comments and some threads that were like, oh, they're probably desperate for liquid cash, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what they are, but the amount of money that I have is all insured, FDIC insured through Robinhood, and it's, there's very low risk for me, and I found it to be a very high reward, especially just for a few hours of work. And as I mentioned, this isn't me, I'm not trying to switch away from Schwab. I've had a great experience with Schwab, and to be completely honest, unless Robinhood can fix a few things, which we'll talk about, I'll probably swap back to Schwab at the end of the 5 years. But the first thing is their customer service. They're all nice, they're all kind, but Charles Schwab customer service is incredible. While Robinhood, I sometimes have to message 2 or 3 to 5 people before I find someone that can actually answer my question. It's not that anyone's rude, I just find that their staff either is incompetent or doesn't have the tools to succeed to be able to answer the questions that people have, especially on their crypto team. I do have some of my crypto money held through Robinhood, and it's been hard to get questions answered there. And the other big one is when I transferred my traditional IRA and my Roth IRA, there are some funds, mutual funds and index funds that not Charles Schwab, that Robinhood doesn't support. And that's one of the biggest cons actually, is now my traditional IRA is split up between the funds that are supported. Charles Schwab supports everything as far as I can tell. So all my mutual and index funds are still at Charles Schwab, and anything that Robinhood could or would support is now at Robinhood. And that's true for my Roth IRA and my traditional IRA. So they're kind of disjointed and split now. And unless Robinhood can kind of figure that out in the next 5 years and support more mutual funds and index funds and things like that, I'll probably end up swapping back to Schwab because there's just no restrictions, no limitations. They don't have the same startup setbacks that Robinhood has, just of being a smaller company, being a smaller bank, smaller provider. But who knows? 5 years is a long time, especially in this space. I'm hoping that Robinhood can kind of step up their game and take it to the next level. So overall, I'm very happy about how things have been handled with Robinhood and Robinhood Gold. I'll keep you updated throughout, but I did get that 3% match. Again, there was something on this website. Let me pull it up. So this is what I used to see, and I'll keep you guys posted if this changes, but this says coming soon. But what I used to see is that this was through end of April, and this was a 3% match. So no matter how much money you gave Robinhood from your traditional IRA and your Roth IRA, they were gonna match it at 3%. So if you gave them $1 million, they're gonna give you $30,000 just right there. So that was good through May. Again, that's what brought me over, is just kind of that free money. And this says coming soon. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen, what that actually means. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions. And if you are also a Robinhood Gold member, what are some of your favorite features? Because I personally haven't taken advantage of Morningstar or, the margin lending, like any of the other Robinhood Gold features, I haven't taken advantage of. Literally only just that 3% match. So let me know what I should be looking for. Thanks.